Welcome to your Arizona Cardinals update. Today we're going to go ahead and provide you all the information you need to know heading into Week 7's matchup versus the Green Bay Packers. And we're also going to be diving into another former NFL player talking about Kyler Murray's lack of leadership. All that and so much more. Let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. And we are on the road to 19K. Cannot do it without you guys, so make sure you subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. But ladies and gentlemen, we do got a lot to dive into today. We got some information heading into Week 7 of the NFL season, and this is as do or die for the Arizona Cardinals fan base and organization. You cannot start the season off 2-5. We are already kind of starting off in a hole at 2-4, but this next game versus the Green Bay Packers, this is as do or die as it seems, right? So let's see what happens here, but let's go and dive right into all the updates that you need to know. We ended up hearing Jonathan Gannon earlier this morning come out and saying that running back Amari Demercado is officially ruled out of this game. Now, there's a lot of question marks heading into Week 7 this coming Sunday versus the Green Bay Packers, right? You saw Darius Robinson and, Walter Nolan out there now starting the 21-day window finally opening up for him, but Walter Nolan will not be activated this week. Now, this is no shock to me. I ended up saying this on my video on Wednesday. I think what they're really targeting is going to be Monday Night Football versus the Dallas Cowboys in terms of activating Walter Nolan. Now, yes, I know it's going to be Week 9. He missed weeks 1 through 7. We have our bye week in Week 8, and I get it. But if there's something we want to obviously keep your eyes on, especially if this season goes south, we got, the rookie and Walter Nolan to definitely keep your eyes on here in Week 9. Barring any setbacks, that's probably when he's going to be making his debut for the Cardinals. And now let's dive into Marvin Harrison Jr. He is still in concussion protocol, but for what it's worth, there was some videos floating around that Marvin Harrison Jr. does no longer have that yellow jersey on, which is the non-contact jersey. So it is trending in the right direction for Marvin Harrison Jr. to be suiting up here in Week 7 versus the Packers. And we all know we can definitely very use Marvin Harrison Jr., but as of right now, TBD. Now, also Kyler Murray, another big topic out there, is Kyler Murray going to be going here in Week 7 versus the Packers? Just like I said earlier this week, and maybe a little last week as well, with the Lisfranc foot injury here from Kyler Murray, I do believe he most likely was going to be missing these 2 weeks anyways, and there's more videos floating around that Kyler Murray is actually throwing the ball over to the practice squad guys again, right? And then Jacoby Brissett is throwing the ball to Marvin and to all the number ones out there. So if that doesn't tell you very much, it definitely seems like it's trending the direction that Jacoby Brissett most likely will be getting his second start of the 2025 season. And honestly, I'm kind of intrigued again to see if Jacoby Brissett is going to be able to replicate what he ended up doing against the Colts. But as of right now, TBD. But those are the big updates out there. Darius Robinson is training to suit back up. I think he's progressing very, very well. So definitely make sure that you keep your eyes on Darius to see if he's going to be able to do something here in Week 7. But all right, everybody, let's go and move on over to the next topic here. And that is that another former NFL player is now talking about Kyler Murray, our current QB1 for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we've heard former players come out and say multiple different things about Kyler Murray. LaShawn McCoy ended up coming out. Bryce Butler, a former wide receiver that probably only played with Kyler with maybe in preseason. And then we heard some comments here from P2 as well, which he ended up retracting back, but it all kind of seems to kind of correlate with the same different thing, right? With like the lack of leadership skills. And that is basically what Andrew Whitworth is doubling down. Now credit to him and his podcast. I believe he's got a podcast named Fitz and Wit, which is him, Andrew Whitworth, and then another former quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So they're chopping it up here in a podcast. And let's be real, I think everybody has a podcast these days, but it's very fascinating to hear the player's perspective. And he is a former Ram, so he's very familiar with, I guess, people within the division. And let's go and just dive right into what he had to say specifically about Kyler Murray and his lack of leadership skills.
I just think Kyler Murray doesn't bring it, and to me, it's not like I'm not a fan of the human being. I just on the football field and in that position and at the helm, I don't see enough moments where he's the guy in people's ears. He's the guy leading the football team, speaking life into who they are. I think if even the play that you brought up with Demercado, why is it Paris Johnson that's sitting there talking to that guy? You are the franchise quarterback. If there's anybody that should be in that circle, It should be you making sure that DeMarcado knows you still going to need him to win this game. We got to be in this thing. Like I don't understand why you're not in the circle there talking to this guy who's upset and clearly distraught. And yeah, you're going to say, oh man, that was that one time. No, there's countless
Well, the
moments we can
Marvin
go.
Harrison drops, the intercept,
We can.
we've
It's
seen it
countless
over and over
moments.
again.
And so I'm not bagging on him as a football player. I'm bagging on him as a leader.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Whitworth coming out and basically kind of laying it on Kyler Murray about the lack of leadership skills. Now, before I give you my take in this whole situation, let me just do a real quick shout out to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's going to be none other than Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF, and you can get up to $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions apply. And yes, they will be providing you another offer if you use my promo code. And that is, they will provide you with a free $20 to go ahead and use on their app. There is no deposit needed. So if you have, want to try it out, but you don't want to put no deposit down, right now is your opportunity to use my promo code AZSF, and they'll just give you $20 so you can go ahead and use their Sleeper app. Highly recommend you do so. Make sure to check out Sleeper, proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go and dive right into these comments here from former NFL player in Andrew Whitworth. All the things he had to say about Kyler Murray. And I'm going to be real with you guys for a second, because all the times that we ended up hearing former players come out, like a Sean McCoy as well as Bryce Butler, right? I came to the aid of Kyler. I came to the aid in saying things like, I always had some sort of rebuttal. But at some point, as a Cardinal fan, you kind of get to a specific year, you get to a specific moment where you're just like, I don't know if I have that in me anymore. I don't know if I have the opportunity to come out here and say, no, he's wrong because ABC, right? We saw multiple different times and multiple different accounts where Kyler Murray, when things go right, I do believe he's probably one of the best leaders to be on the football field with his guys. But like Kyler Murray said, he's not a rah-rah guy. He is a lead by example type of guy. But the unfortunate part is that when things go wrong and things go south, and let's be real, as an Arizona Cardinal fan, things go wrong a lot with the Arizona Cardinals. He's not one to kind of go to people and try to cheer them up. Now, if it's happened a couple different times, I will give him that. I have seen some occasions where he's definitely hyped up, but it's not in a consistent manner, right? It's not one of those things where you're constantly seeing Kyler Murray try to hype up his guys. You are the quarterback of a franchise, which means that everybody's looking to you for answers. And I know that might be a hard pill to swallow for some Kyler Murray stands out there that feel like we're bagging on him for every which direction. But as a quarterback of the NFL, you have a responsibility to not be too high and not be too low on the sidelines. And just another perfect example, they mentioned it here on this podcast, the whole Marvin Harrison Jr. thing. We have a young player that was so in his head that he hears all the comments, right? A lot of these players saying that we're not listening to the outside noise, but it's so hard to escape social media. It's so hard to escape the headlines. He knows that he has not lived up to the expectations of a lot of Cardinal fans and a lot of people watching the NFL. When Marvin Harrison Jr. came out of college, he was seen to be one of the best wide receiving prospects coming out of the NFL. And now after the rookie year, you have players like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey doing it more than Marvin Harrison Jr. So it was kind of one of those things where you would have hoped that the quarterback to kind of come to his aid and say, hey, I'm going to keep going to you. It's all right. You rub some dirt on it, whatever the situation might be. You were hoping that the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals are going to be able to do that. Now, during the Thursday night football game, when he caught that fade route by Kyler Murray didn't celebrate with Marvin Harrison Jr. It was Jacoby Brissett that ended up coming out and dabbing him up and really excited for Marvin Harrison Jr. about catching the ball. But we all know, right, after that catch, Marvin Harrison Jr. took a knee, and I think he was really having that NFL moment that he knows now he can do it. But you got a young guy that was in his head, and I don't know if during these plays or during these games that Kyler Murray was a big I guess, stepping stone for him. I mean, he could very well be. And I know I heard Marvin Harrison Jr. before the season started when he was on, I believe it was NFL Network, and people were talking about, what is the leadership skills of Kyler Murray, because everybody gets on Kyler Murray so much about the lack of leadership skills. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. ended up coming out and said very glowing remarks about him. But at the end of like, what do you expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to do? He's a year two wide receiver that's hoping to get a big jump and is depending on Kyler Murray to be that guy for him. So of course he's going to come out here and give glowing remarks. And on a personal basis, they are probably really cool with each other, right? Kyler Murray did everybody a solid by taking everybody to California 2 straight years in a row. And I'm talking about the wide receiving weapons, the tight end weapons. He took them on in a full paid expense on Kyler Murray. So that on its own is really good leadership skills. But what I'm really looking for is when things hit the fan, right? When things don't go right, I don't want to see Kyler Murray pouting. I don't want to see Kyler Murray away from the rest of his guys. I want him to rally everybody together and say, we can do this. We can pick it up. We can go ahead and win this game after all. So all these, concerns, all these comments that are coming out here from former NFL players, I'm now starting to kind of really think that, hey, they might be right. But we were also talking about it 2 or 3 years ago about we need Kyler Murray to stop looking like Grumpy Cat at these sidelines when things don't go right. And guess what? It is still happening to the day. So I don't blame Kyler Murray's passion for winning. I don't blame it. I get it. He's a competitor. He wants to win. And when he doesn't, his emotions get the best of him sometimes, right? But as a quarterback of the NFL and a young team that you have around you, these guys are looking to you for those answers. And if you're sulking and you're not really kind of leading everybody, then we're kind of in this situation where it's never going to get fixed. So do I blame Andrew Whitworth for coming out here and saying the things that he did? I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. For multiple years, I've come to the defense of Kyler Murray. And as of right now, I don't know if I have that in me anymore because, like I mentioned on prior videos, I think we might be nearing an end of the Kyler Murray experiment. We've seen already with 1 week of preparation what Jacoby Brissett was able to do with this offense. And it's been the best I've seen this offense look in a very long time. Now, yes, the result didn't kind of follow suit, but Kyler Murray needs to either get his SHIT together or learn what Jacoby Brissett is doing. And we all know what he's doing. He's standing in the pocket, stepping up, and allowing plays to develop. But Kyler Murray needs to learn that consistently. And if he doesn't, then we're going to have some really, really uncomfortable conversations heading into the 2026 offseason. But ladies and gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts on this comments? Put it in the comments below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.